Great leaders and managers shape who we are and who we will become. This really was brought to light for me during a recent meeting I had with a former manager of mine who is also still a mentor for me, and still somebody I aspire to be one day when I can lead a team. Not only is that leadership style that she possessed and emulated something that I hope that all companies would and all leaders would, um, but even down to some of the sort of smaller guideposts that she instilled in me. So during a recent meeting, I talked about how I still keep with me a pen that she gifted me. So she gifted me this blue pen. Um, there's a little bit of a backstory behind it, but she always had this pen, but in black and in silver, which I also bought black and silver, and purple and gold. And so she gave it to me, and so I kept it, and then I also invested in some more of my own that are in different colored inks. And I kept this pen because I really liked the way that it wrote, and that's why she gave me one. And because she's been an inspiration to me, I've always kept this going. The other thing that she used to do that I sort of picked up as a habit, when she was making notes, she would make a square, a box, right? Of things that she wanted to go back to, revisit, look at, um, so that it would draw your attention. It wasn't just another dot or a star that you had to sort of like find in the shuffle. It was a box that literally was like, do this, look at this, what have you. And then you could check it off, or what have you when you were completed doing that. And so when I make notes and I do my coffee chats and I do things like that, and somebody asks me to do something, or did you read this book, or did you see this website, I make a box. And I know that I can go back through my notebook and I can find those boxes and I can go and look those things up and check them off, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is that she used to have this interesting perspective on folders. So during our time, we did a lot of manual paper touching, right? We were doing payroll, we were doing a number of other things that required paper to be passed back and forth. And she always had these bright, extravagantly colored folders. Some were, green with quote marks, some were red with white swirls, right? You name it, it was like so unique and definitely was true to her. And so one day I asked her about this process and why she had such colorful folders. Not only was it fun, but she'd made a comment about how, in the sort of the sea of your desk, right? Sometimes there are manila folders and white pieces of paper and things all over. So she wanted it to be recognizing, or instantly, she wanted people to be able to instantly recognize that when they saw that bright red folder on the desk, not only was what was in it was important, but that it came from HR and they knew who to bring it back to. Right. And I carried that with me into my next two employers. I always had folders, and when I delivered something, it was in a bright, extravagant folder. Some that she had given me before she departed the organization, which I appreciated. And now I like to help job seekers on their resume similarly, right? How can we make your resume stand out above the sea of other resumes that are submitted? And so for me, it was really interesting to have this conversation with her and really understand that some of the things that I still do today are because of her and because of the strong leader and role model that she was. And so I thought that that perspective was unique because and I'd love to pose the question to you. What do you still do that you were taught, maybe like me 6 years ago, even maybe more, right? That was instilled in you by a great leader and a great manager who you respected, and that process continued. Um, I don't even think twice about it now, but I do know it's from her. And it was interesting to remember, the positive impact such a great leader had on me. And so leaders out there, right? If you want to be great, it's some of those small things even that you're instilling in your people, that can be organization and, preparation, and even those little nuances of things that they can bring later in life that you have as a little bit of flavor. So just remember that. And, I posed a question to you. What has been one thing that you've carried forward that you were taught by an incredible leader or mentor? I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great week. Thank you.